All right, what's up, everybody? I am actually just making a quick video to respond to a very good question. Manny Mertz. I don't know if I'm saying that last part correctly. I apologize if I butchered it. Uh, but Manny asked, said, now, which free tool would you recommend getting for a homeowner? Well, that is an excellent question. I decided to make a video on it because, trust me, you're not the only one with the same question. So let's go over it. I'm going to actually rank every tool in order. So starting with number one, this would be the first tool I would recommend, and that would be the impact wrench. I would recommend the impact wrench because the average homeowner would have more uses immediately with or for the impact wrench. For example, I just put together some gym equipment. Let's see if you can see that. All right, so I just put that together and I needed an impact wrench. I mean, that's not what I used, but I could have used it on there and it would have made the job go by a lot quicker. Another good use for the impact wrench is if you own a home, I assume you probably own a car as well. So wrenches is what you need for repairing cars or even just changing the oil or changing the brakes and rotors. You could use this simply just for removing tires, for removing lug nuts. And it's a half-inch drive, which is going to be more universal than a 3/8. A lot of people get 3/8 to start off, but you'll find as you get up there, like with lug nuts and stuff like that, those are usually half-inch sockets. So you get you this impact wrench, and then you go on to Home Depot and get you a nice Husky socket set for like $90 or whatever. And yeah, you'll be straight. And the cool thing about the Husky sets, and I'll show, matter of fact, well, currently Home Depot has some Husky sets on sale for $99. I actually have this set here, but it's saying pickup is unavailable. You can use BrickSeek to see if your store has it. They're $99. And they have another 270 pieces, $99. Um, and it doesn't seem to come with the same storage bin, which if it didn't, that would be quite unfortunate. Okay, yeah, they kind of actually want you to buy something else to store it in. I wouldn't do that one. I would just get this one here. Definitely don't pay anything. You can find a good set for under $100. They have a lifetime warranty, and if you ever have any issues, you can just walk right back into Home Depot and say, hey, this messed up, and they'll just swap it out for you. No receipt needed, no anything, which means you can also buy this secondhand. So with that said, yeah, I would get that impact wrench along with the sockets, Husky sockets from Home Depot. They work great and they have lifetime warranties, easy to swap them out. Moving on, the number two tool I would get is the oscillating tool. The reason I get the oscillating tool is because this tool has a lot of uses. You can cut copper pipe with it. You cut PVC pipe. So if you have any plumbing issues and you need to repair a pipe, you can use your oscillating tool to cut it. If you have any other issues where you need to cut or trim drywall or just 2x4s or cut a small piece of wood, make some precision cuts, the oscillating tool can do that for you, and you're more likely to have issues like that around the house as a homeowner than you would needing the circular saw or something like that. So the number two tool would be the oscillating tool kit. Now my number three tool would be this reciprocating saw, and it was a close race between this and the circular saw, but I'm going to tell you why I say the reciprocating saw. So if you own a home, chances are you have bushes, trees in your yard, you have or bushes around the house, and generally annually, definitely every 2 years, you're going to need to trim some branches or trim something along the bushes or something. You're going to have to trim some branches at some point, and this reciprocating saw will help with that. It'll make slight work of that. So that's why I say the reciprocating saw. When it comes to the circular saw, which would be my number four pick, uh, you know, you're getting into DIY territory now. All the other tools are basically maintenance type tools. Of course, you can use them for DIY or even pro use, but when it comes to just homeowners, if I say, okay, this is what I recommend a homeowner use, I'm saying you are using these tools to just maintain your property. And those are the only real maintenance type tools in this kit. Once you get to the circular saw, you're kind of getting into DIY woodworking territory, but I'm going to keep going through the whole 7. So next up, I would say the circular saw, just because you might feel like, hey, you know what, I want to build a shed, or you want to build something or need to replace a piece of wood. I remember when I bought my townhouse 12 years ago now, I had to replace a wood panel on the side of the cabinets, and I could have used, which I think I did, I used a circular saw for that. I used a circular saw to cut trim. When I made some trim around the mirrors, it was a really good tool to have when I got introduced to woodworking and some little DIY things around the house to increase the value or just fix things around the house. So circular saw would be number 4. Number 5, what do we have left? We have an angle grinder, we have a jigsaw, and we have a router. So at this point now, you're definitely getting into some handyman, serious DIY, work here. The angle grinder is going to be dead last, number 7. We'll get to that. So right now it's between the router and the jigsaw. And I'm going to go with the router for number 5. The only reason I'm choosing the router over the jigsaw is because you already have the circular saw. And if you really get to know your circular saw, look at some videos on YouTube, you can get really skilled with it. You can replace I don't want to say replace, but you can. If you have a circular saw and the right adapters, you don't need a table saw. You can also make some pretty close precision cuts and some fine cuts with the circular saw. And if you need some more precision, you can go back and use your oscillating tools. So you don't quite need the jigsaw yet, but you may want to make some really nice edging designs with a router. You might want to cut something or cut a new, let's say you want to make a custom countertop, or some trim. You can cut out some wood and then you can use your router to go around the edge and create something very beautiful. You don't necessarily need the jigsaw. You can create really beautiful pieces of work with a circular saw, oscillating tool, and a router. So number 6 now is the jigsaw. The jigsaw is made for making really precise cuts and turns inside of wood, okay? Now, the interesting thing about the jigsaw, like you can get the same thing accomplished with a bandsaw. The thing is, the bandsaw is going to cost a whole lot more. The whole setup is going to cost more, and you have to take your piece to the bandsaw. But with the jigsaw, you can take your jigsaw to the work piece, which will be a lot easier in most cases. Now, if you have like really small pieces of wood that you want to cut, then yeah, I would recommend a bandsaw to be a lot safer. But larger pieces of wood that you're working with, the jigsaw is what you want. And finally, we come to the angle grinder. And the angle grinder is dead last because this is really a pro tool. Now, I did post a video yesterday of me cutting off a padlock, and I used a cutoff tool, and they have cutoff wheels for angle grinders. You can do the exact same thing with the angle grinder, which I have, but again, that tool is way bigger, and I use this opportunity to really see if that cutoff tool could cut that padlock. I figured it would, but that's not why I bought that tool. So I wanted to demo that, and you can see that video here. But aside from metal cutting, everything else dealing with the angle grinder is some pro uses for metal workers, really, or masonry work. I've used it in the past for masonry work. I've never really used the angle grinder for metal working. I'm not a welder. I want to learn, but I don't really work with metal like that. So, this is definitely a pro tool, and you need quite a bit of safety gear using an angle grinder correctly. If you're using the sanding sheets, you're going to need almost one of those full body suits. That's what I wear. You need gloves, you need glasses, You need a respirator for almost anything you do other than just cutting metal. And if you're using like a wire wheel, you definitely want a face shield, almost like you're welding something, because those little strands, they fly off and you don't want them getting stuck in your face. I've seen it. So so yeah, so anyway, those are my picks, and that's what I would recommend for the average homeowner. Now, you know what you might need, but the average homeowner, I think that list in order would be sufficient. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think of the list. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you guys next video.